Welcome to episode 4, Research Without Tears, Finding Quality Sources. The first suggestion that I have is that you think of finding quality sources as a kind of treasure hunt for valuable information, that you're on this hunt and you're going to find really great stuff. And that's a really good attitude to go in at. Usually, if it's a topic that I've okayed, I have some confidence that the information exists. And it may not be that easy to find and it may not be that available, but usually there's stuff out there. So it's all a matter of how you look and how persistent you are sometimes in terms of what you find. So what do you look for and how do you do it? Well, we're going to talk about subject headings. We're going to talk about what they are, what you do once you find them, and what are sources for finding subject headings. So a subject heading is what scholars in the English language have agreed to call your topic. Subject headings may not be what you think. A subject heading is, for example, sometimes a little slippery. I had a student once who wanted to do a research paper about his family occupation throughout history, and his family had been butchers. So he was looking for butchers, he was looking for information, butchers, butchers, butchers. He couldn't find information. So I said, that must not be what scholars call your topic. They must have some other word for it. And sure enough, once we started really looking, we found out that it's called meatpacking by scholars. And then he found tons of information. So how do you find the right magic words? In every library, and any librarian can take you right to it, and also online, if you go to the Library of Congress website, there's something called the Library of Congress Subject Headings book. And in the Gavilan Library, it's a huge book that has its own stand, and it's just an enormous book. And you can look through it to see what scholars call your subject. And it will tell you all the different subject headings that you should check in determining all the different things that your subject might be called and all of the different subject headings that you're going to want to use. A good researcher often goes into a research session with 20 to 60 subject headings so that all of those things can be explored. So once you have a good list of subject headings, at least 10, all different aspects of your topic, what it can be called, maybe it was changed through time and it was called different things at different times, you take those to Google Scholar and you start plugging those into Google Scholar. You type them in and you see what comes up. And you learn which subject headings are going to be helpful and which are going to lead you to molecular biology sources that are not relevant to a history paper. What are the multiple items that could be used to describe your subject is kind of the thing that you're looking at. What are the ones that are solid gold? When you plug them in, which ones really come out with some things that look like they'd be helpful? And then you make a special note of those subject headings. You also probably, in most of the research papers I assign, are only looking for your subject heading in a given time period. You're not looking for all time. You're looking before 1865 or before 1500 or in the period in California between 1900 and 1930. So sometimes you combine your subject heading with dates, and that can help you narrow your focus, and it can help you give more information that's specific to the time period that we're covering in class. Then you also want to think about, once you start getting some good subject headings and you're starting to get some information, start thinking about, how am I going to organize this? I can't just research this one big subject heading. There are going to be subtopics underneath that are going to be the categories that are going to become the outline for my paper. And what subtopics are coming up that would be relevant to my topic and to my time period that I think I can probably use to keep researching so I can get more information. It's almost always true that your subject heading search is going to lead you to some new directions. So you always want to do it with a paper and a pencil nearby. And that's another place where it's a great idea to get help from a reference librarian or from me. I love searching for information, and I'm always happy to help you if you're having trouble generating subject headings. But when you walk into my office, I usually say, okay, let's see your list. Show me your subject headings. So let's see what you've done so far. So good luck, happy hunting, and let's be in touch.